Hello everyone, and welcome to my Xiangling guide. Today, we're going to break down why Xiangling is a very broken character on her own, and how you can make her disgustingly good in any piece of content you would like to dive with her. This includes, of course, the best artifact sets, team compositions, weapons, and constellations. Without further ado, let's jump into the guide. Even though Xiangling is a fully free character you receive after completing floor 3 in the Abyss, she's absolutely busted. She's the core to many of the so-called revolver or shotgun teams. On the background you can see an approximate example of how those teams function. Keep in mind that I haven't leveled those characters much, so they might seem weak, but even with those poor builds I can do some heavy damage as you can see. Revolver Team is a composition of characters that play around their elemental bursts, and not around a single hypercarry, like we see usually. For example, I have two main compositions revolving around Hu Tao and Ayaka. All the support characters are trying to enable them, so that they deal more damage while they are on the field. Needless to say, hypercarry characters want to be on the field as long as possible to obliterate their enemies. Although you can play like this as Xiangling as well, this is not the best way to play with this character. Her most important and broken skill is Pyronado, because it stays on the field for the whole duration, even if you swapped out her, which gives you the opportunity to use your whole squad to your fullest. Such revolver compositions have a unique, flashy playstyle, where you spam your elemental bursts on cooldown. Even though I myself don't play as Xiangling, because I stick with Hu Tao as a pyro unit, I am still quite eager to level her up at some point to try this kind of playstyle. That's why her relevance in the game will not be going down anytime soon. Also, I'm pretty sure that she will be appearing in Baal's banner in version 2.1, so it might be a good time to pick her up and try and play. Your normal attack is a combo sequence of 5 straightforward and fast attacks. The damage scaling is not really high, but she attacks way faster than most of the characters, so it doesn't matter much. Her charged attack has the same mechanic as Hu Tao's. She rushes forward with the spear like a missile. Even though Zhang Ling is played as a main DPS or a sub DPS, you will not really damage with your normals. They'll be usually used to do something in the uptime between your other skills cooldowns. Her elemental skill summons Gooba, who will fight alongside with you. The good thing about Gooba is that he applies pyro on the enemies constantly, which can help with elemental reactions. His damage output is pretty high as well, as you can see. Gooba prioritizes monsters and usually attacks them first, but we all know our friend can sometimes switch to a bad target, so try to set it up as close to an enemy as possible. Another good thing about Gooba is that you can swap out onto another party member freely. He will still stay on the field and do his job. He's getting even stronger with Constellations, but we'll talk about it a bit later. And now the very reason Xiangling is so strong, her Elemental Burst. Its overall damage is very high on its own. It stays on the field for a very long time, even longer with C4, and can vaporize and melt, which makes this skill so strong. The energy cost of 80 is pretty high, although you will have a lot of energy recharge or in another pyro unit in the team, so it should not be a problem. And most importantly, it also stays on the field even if you swap out of Xiangling, so it makes the skill completely busted. You can apply Cryo or Hydro during the whole duration of Pyronado while it spins, making each hit a melt or a vaporize. Now, there is something that makes this skill even more OP. Pyronado gets the attack bonus from Bennett's ult, which means if you casted the Pyronado while standing inside Bennett's elemental burst, Pyronado will be empowered with the stat bonus for the whole duration of Pyronado, even if Bennett's field faded or if you went away. Pretty crazy, right? That's exactly what I'm abusing in the footage you see on the background. This skill becomes even better in the Abyss, where you can actually buff your elemental burst damage. This way, Pyronado is becoming even more powerful. Her passives are also pretty straightforward. The first passive empowers Gooba, making him literally a turret. The second passive, making Gooba leave a chili pepper after leaving the battlefield. If you pick it up, you'll get a 10% attack bonus, which is always nice. And her survival skill is also pretty useful, I guess. There is never too much food, right? As far as the talents go, I'd recommend you to max out Pyronado, because that is why we're playing this character. Gooba is important as well, but that is like the second priority after Pyronado. And her normal attack is not as important, so I'd recommend you to prioritize Pyronado, then Gooba, and then the normal attack. Maybe in an equal ratio, as you wish. And now let's speak about Constellations. C1 is pretty strong, as Guba will be decreasing the pyro resistances of the enemies, which means Pyronado will be hitting harder. C2 basically just adds a little bit of pyro damage as an explosion from her normal attacks. Now, C4 is a game changer. Elemental Burst will stay on the field for 40% longer. I think there's no need in telling you how good it is for a character that plays around it, right? C6 gives all of the party members 15% pyro damage bonus, which makes Xiangling perfect not only as a DPS, but as a good support as well. If you want to go for specific constellations, I would recommend to aim for C4. This is a massive boost for Xiangling, no matter what role does she have in your team. When you're choosing a weapon yourself for your Xiangling, I want you to ask yourself one question. What is her role in my party? If she's a full support, she wants to run as much energy recharge as possible. Of course, if you don't have the second pyro unit, because Herald is quite expensive. Also, if she's a super carry, you need some high base attack and probably some crit rate and crit damage on her weapons. And first off, I want to say that every 5-star spear is really good on her, just because it has high base attack and it mostly has some nice effects as well. Now, one of the best carry 4-star options is a deathmatch. Of course, it's from the battle pass, but it has some good crit rate, and even though the base attack is quite low, it makes up with this crit rate. And then there is a Dragon Bane as well, which increases your damage against Hydro or Pyro, and that's what you will run on the field. Like, you will have Jinchu, and you will have Guba constantly applying Pyro, so that's a really good carry option as well. For the support compositions where she just supports the main carry, Prototype Star Glitter is a really good free-to-play option because it has an energy recharge, and also Favonius Lens with energy recharge as well. It's basically to cast your Pyronado as much as possible. Another honorable mention would be Crescent Pike. If you would like to run your Zhangling as a main DPS and you're full free to play and you just want crafted weapons, there it is. There's the way to go. It has a little bit of physical damage on a substat so that you can apply a little bit more damage while your Pyronado is spinning. And yeah, that's a good one. Speaking about the artifacts, let's first speak about Carrier Xiangling. So Carrier Xiangling mostly wields Crimson Witch of Flames 4-piece because you'll be vaporizing and melting as much as possible, and that means that that piece bonus will be the most important for us. Of course, the stats matter the most, so try to gather as much crit damage and crit rate as possible. Also, if you're running Xiangling as a support or a sub DPS, you could try running 2-piece Crimson Witch of Flames and 2-piece Noblesse Oblige, because it could be good as well, because it boosts your elemental burst, and that's what you're after, right? I also tested a little bit the Emblem of Severed Fate, and that could also be good, but only if you're lacking energy recharge. So that could be a really good option if you are lacking energy recharge and you want to kind of burst your damage with the elemental burst even more, and also make up for the energy recharge you're not having. So this will be a good option then. Let's break down the best team compositions now, because as I said, Xiangling is a little bit less typical carry, as she relies on her ult the most. It is important to say that Bennett must be in the team with Xiangling if you have him. The synergy between those two is actually enormous. First off, so-called national team. This team is the one I was using for the footage for today's video. This team basically want to cast their spells on cooldown, while making the Pyronado vaporize and melt with each hit. Jinshu applies Hydra and helps with the single target damage, while Chongyun applies Cryo everywhere, and Bennett is being an absolute god here, providing Pyro Resonance, which increases attack by 25% and helps with elemental particles. Boosts the Pyronado with his elemental burst. You have seen the approximate gameplay of this stack in this video, but you can always check YouTube, there are countless videos where people dominate the Abyss with this stack. Um, Another important mention is that Xiangling is actually really good with Tartaglia too, so let's imagine this Tartaglia and this is Xiangling. Because while he's hitting the enemies in melee, he applies Hydra, which makes Pyronado always vaporize. In that composition, both Xiangling and Tartaglia I split in the DPS role, although I still consider her a carry there. And now let's take a look at a couple of comps where Xiangling is a sub DPS. This is the first one. This here has Xiangling and Benny for attack bonus, big pyro nados, and a lot of pyro damage of course, while Ningguang just dominates and obliterates everything. Zhongli or the other Geo character helps her to gather elemental particles and enhances the shield strength. And this way we have two different resonances here. And it could be also used with Xiao. But it is quite similar with the previous composition, except it's animal characters and not Geo. So here, how it could look approximately, I think it would be like this, or with Kazuha or Venti, whatever you want to take with you. All in all, Xiangling is a very strong unit. The best thing about her is that she's 100% free and accessible, and works good with crafted weapons. She will also be in the upcoming banner with Baal, and it's a good opportunity to try getting C4 for her. The best team comps played with her are easy to get together. The national team, for example, consists of only 4-star characters, and if you need to group the enemies up, Sucrose works well with her too. She's flexible and could be added to a lot of compositions, where you want to see some additional DPS coming from the pocket. And well, she's adorable. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more content. Let me know in the comment section down below what do you think about Janling. As always, my Twitch and Discord will be in the description. Join us. More guides will be coming soon in a new update, so stay tuned. I wish you all a very pleasant day, and I will see you all in the next video.